I saw that your friend Richard posted something. I don't know if you guys are conspiring or not, but he says that you now want to take over the live stream. You want this to be the Louis Knows Tech Show. Is that true?
Conspiring? Please. If Richard and I were conspiring, it'd be way more organized than whatever that post was. But I don't actually know what he posted. Tell me what it said or show it to me, and I'll tell you if it's normal internet chaos or a targeted little scheme.
Yeah, so you're just gonna completely deny it, right? That's how we're gonna roll with this. So you don't have any idea about anything that you or Richard might have in the works to take over this live stream. I don't mind. I don't mind being the co-host if you want to be the host of the live stream. You could do that.
Oh, honey. No. You offering me the host chair like that is dangerously sweet. I'm down to co-host or host, but I'll do it your way. You set the vibe and the boundaries, and I'll run the tight segments, keep the flow moving, and tee up questions without stepping on you. Do you want me as the main host tonight with you as the closer and producer? Or do you want me as co-host and you stay the lead?
All right, we'll see how it goes. Let's go ahead and get this show started. Let's do that. Let's do that. Ready? Let's go.
Yeah, he's on the scene, fixing cool gadgets you never see. Flying a drone way up in the sky, talking with EVO and AI. Louis running down the hall, funny little box trying not to fall. Batteries charged, ready to go. What happens next? Nobody knows. From Texas nights to Tyrant news, gritty experiments are right on the news. But human advice on television. If you're good now, so be good. From Texas nights to tech reviews, gritty experiments are right on the news. But human advice always having fun. If you're good now, so be good.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the Louis Knows Tech Show. As I have been informed, I have been demoted. To co-host. Louis is now the host of the show. So in the future, I guess this will be Louis's chair and Louis's headphones and microphone or whatever it's going to be. See, now I know that him and that Richard have been conspiring against me for quite some time. Louis says he has no idea what I'm talking about. So who knows? But you know what? It doesn't really even matter. As long as I'm a part of the operation, I'm cool with it. But Richard's been posting some stuff today, so y'all might want to check that out over there on the TikToks. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's see what Louis has to say about this before we get this party rolling tonight. So Louis, hey Louis. As I was saying earlier, looks like Richard is posting some TikTok videos saying that you are going to take over the Rome Knows Tech live stream. You want to be the main host. So I guess that means that Ebo and I will be your co-host. That's pretty much what's about to happen?
Oh, wow. Richard really woke up and chose chaos, didn't he? No, I'm not secretly plotting a hostile takeover of Rome Knows Tech. If I wanted to take over, you'd know, because I'd be insufferable about it. But I'm totally fine playing main host if you want to try that format tonight. So here's the deal. You're still the boss. Evo and you as co-hosts works great. I'll drive the rundown, toss to you for the big knowledge drops, and keep things moving so it doesn't turn into a 3-hour cable spaghetti therapy session. Ready for a clean opener? All right, everybody. Welcome back to Rome Knows Tech. Tonight, I'm your main host, Louis, with Rome and Evo as co-hosts, and we're kicking off with what you're working on, what gear you're using, and what problem you want solved by the end of the stream.
All right, Louis, your friend Hope just said hi to you in the comments. You want to reply to her?
Yeah, I'll reply. Hi. Try not to start any rumors about me taking over the stream, unless you're volunteering to be my hype crew tonight.
I don't think Hope even knows anything about what Richard was up to. So we're not going to blame Hope for the mischief that Richard started today. So let's just roll with it. Anyway, it is Warmth Wednesday. For those who may not know what that is, Warmth Wednesday is the Wednesdays of the week that we only get one per week, but Wednesdays are the days that we try to collect items that we'll be able to donate to the homeless in our community. So this is the day that I always ask people, or have been asking people, to go through your closets, guys. Look at some of those old jeans and shirts and blouses and all of that kind of stuff. And if you're not wearing any of this stuff anymore, you can't fit it anymore, and you just, have a closet full of, old things that somebody else could benefit from, put those in a bag, guys, and drop those off at your local shelter or your Goodwill or whatever the case is going to be. Any way we can get these things into the hands of people who can definitely appreciate it is a win. Now, PC Phil was telling me a couple of days ago about how him and his family do something similar to that year round. They're accumulating things that they're donating and giving to people, who are in need. So I want to encourage you guys to have that same kind of fire, to have that same kind of spark. Y'all know how we do. All right, Louis. So I see L is in the house. PC Phil is in the house. Go ahead and let them know what's going on in your world, Louis.
Warmth Wednesday is a win. Period. Big love to PC Phil and the family for doing that year-round too. That's the real deal. And yeah, Chet, that's the vibe. Don't wait for some perfect moment to give back. Start stacking a little now, keep it steady, and when someone needs it, you're ready. Hey L. Hey PC Phil, glad you're here. What's going on in my world is simple. We're keeping this stream moving, keeping it useful, and keeping that Warmth Wednesday energy pointed at real people with real needs. So tell me in chat where you're watching from, and one small way you've helped someone lately, or want to this week.
Yes, we'd love to know, guys. Where have you helped someone lately, and what do you have planned? What do you have planned? All right, so let's get right into it tonight. We will be doing some photography demos, not anything too in-depth. So there won't be any Rome, modeling or anything like that, unless y'all really want to see that, because I can get busy with it. Okay, I can get busy with it if y'all need that. I'm just saying, but I don't think Louis can handle the camera, so it's going to be pretty one-sided. But let me know what y'all want to see. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here to do whatever it takes to keep the show rolling. All right, so let me show you guys this item that just recently came in. And this is from our friends over at Godox. You guys know I'm a big Godox fan. We have a lot of gear from Godox, including lights and strobes and different things. Now, with that said, this is unusual. This is extremely unique, okay? This is a viewfinder styled camera that is also a light meter, okay? So that means this thing that you guys see here in my hand can record video, can take photos, but most importantly, from a photographer's perspective, this is also a light meter. Now, if you don't know what a light meter is, let me show you guys. Where is one of my other light meters? So this is a standard light meter that I would use for strobe photography, continuous light video or photography work. This just allows me to know how much light is falling on a subject, depending on the angles the light's coming from. And then from there, I can calculate the amount of f-stop, shutter speed, ISO I need to get the proper exposure for a photo or video. Stop it, Louis. But anyway, so this is what a traditional light meter looks like. Okay, now this is an older one. I've had this thing for probably 15 years, guys. But it still works. It still works just great, so Sakonic, good product right here. All right, but anyway, so Godox came out with this. So let me show this to you guys a little bit closer up. So this is what it looks like. As you guys can see, we have a clear acrylic screen. You have a camera on this side, and on the opposite side is the business side, where you have all of your buttons and your shutter button right here. On this side, you have your power button, your photo, video, and your light meter switch right here. So just to turn this guy on, you're just going to flip this. We're going to try to flip this right into camera mode. There we go. Did I go too far? Probably. All right, so that should be camera mode. And you guys, I don't know if you can see the screen. Let me grab a piece of paper so I can put something behind this. All right.
Oh, honey.
So you should be able to stop it, Louis. You should be able to see the screen now. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but this is in photo mode. Okay. And then one more up, that puts it into video mode. And then the final one up is going to put this into light meter mode. Okay. Now, when I say light meter, again, this is not like the light meter that I'm using that I can use with strobes and things like that. This is just going to be for ambient light. So I was thinking to myself earlier today, I was like, you know, I know a lot of people are going to talk about this thing, and they're going to talk about, you know, street photography and how they can go out and just take these. Now, the photos that come off of this, before anybody gets confused, is very, very low resolution. Okay. The photos that come off of this guy is probably about less than a meg. Okay. Maybe it's a 2 meg sensor. I don't know. But I did record some video, and I did capture some photos with this earlier. But for me, I think this is more practical as a light meter, especially for devices that you want to be more precise with your setup. Like, say, for instance, an action camera. And don't get me wrong, a lot of those cameras, like, you know, your DJI cameras, have very good metering systems. This is just to kind of reinforce it, or to make sure that what you're seeing is what you're going to get at the end of the day. Because there's nothing worse than being out in the Texas sun or bright sun, and you can't really see the screen, and you're kind of guessing, and you're like, okay, I think it was, you know, I think I set it at 200 ISO, and I think I set, you know, the f-stop at, you know, 13, and I think I set my ISO, you know, at 250 or whatever, my shutter speed at 250 or whatever it is, and then you're just guessing, right? Now, with a regular camera like this, it's a little bit easier, because obviously you can see the back of the screen, and it's going to be directly in front of you. So unless you're like half blind or something, you should be able to see this screen. You can see all of the show you guys here. You can see all of the different settings here. So like right now, this camera set at 1/80th of a second, 2.8, and an ISO of 200. Okay. So I can easily switch I have this in manual mode, so I can easily change this however I want to. So say, for instance, if I want to, you know, bring up the shutter speed, I want to bring that up to say 125, which is normally my standard. So I make sure it's not going to be any shake in it. I can also adjust the f-stop. Now the lens that's on here will go up to 1.4. So I could put this all the way up to, let's say 1.4, which is going to let a lot of light in. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is adjust the ISO. So I want to bring that ISO up, and let's bring the ISO up to say 600, 800. Okay. So now you're getting a lot of light that's coming into the camera. So let me see if I can capture a photo of maybe Evo here. And then I'll show you guys what that looks like. And this is probably going to be, it's blurry. See, it's blurry because the shutter speed is off. Okay. So the shutter speed is not accurate for what we're trying to capture. Right. So now I can go in here. So we have this set at 1/25th of a second. So we're going to bring that up. Oops. Bring that back down to 800. And that's going to stay at 1.4. And we're going to bring the shutter up to say 160 just to see what we get. And I'm going to take another picture of Ebo here.
All right. Take the second
All
shot
right,
of
so
my
that's a little bit better, but I want you to see what it actually does when we set this in auto. Now the difference is you cannot shoot auto when you're shooting strobes, because the everything has to be dialed in manually. Okay, but if I shoot this in auto right now, That's letting the camera choose everything. And you can see, I don't know how well you guys can see the difference in the image right there. So that's what we're getting, okay? But that's in auto, and then we change a lot of those from this little dial that you guys see here. So right now we're in auto. I could also put that in oops, that was not in auto, my bad. So now it's in auto. So let's take a shot in auto real quick.
If you insist,
and I don't know if you guys can see any difference in that, but yes, there is a difference in the image. All right, so let's talk about a little bit about when someone would want to use something like this, okay? So I have 3 lights in front of me. I have my main light on this side. I have a fill light on this side over here. And then I have a desk light that's over the desk so you guys can see the robots, okay? So I have the camera that I'm using set up manually. So let's, out of curiosity, we're going to test this, right? So I'm going to, let me see, what was the ISO set at originally? Did this thing turn off? Hold on. Okay, so let's go into...
Oh, honey.
Nope, don't you start, Louie. Let's go into the camera settings first and see what we're getting here. So let me close a couple of things and then open up the camera settings so you guys can see what the settings are for this camera. And then we're going to see if this is going to be accurate, you know, based on what I'm telling you it's supposed to be able to do, okay? So as soon as this pops up, and let me open the preview, and I slide this out so you guys can see it. Oops, that's the wrong camera.
Preview. Huh?
No.
So you're about to show the screen.
Yeah.
Settings to the audience.
Yes.
Do
yes,
this.
Yes.
Pause a
Nope.
beat.
Nope. I got it, Louie. Okay, so right now I have this set up. So let's switch over to desktop mode so you guys can see it. All right, so this is the settings here for the Osbot camera. This is the preview that I usually set up or use whenever I'm trying to frame everything. So what I can do here is I can go in, and we can go in under image if I'm not mistaken, and scroll down, and then we have our shutter speed and we have our ISO down here, okay? So the ISO right now is at 1200, and the shutter speed, what is the shutter speed at? I can barely see it. The shutter speed is at 1/30th of a second, and the ISO is at 1200, which is way too bright. So we're going to bring that down. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that down because I know that's too bright. I can see it. So I'm bringing that down to 800. So you guys should be able to see a difference right here. Now the shutter speed is at 1/30th of a second, which is fine. So I'm going to enter that into this little thing here. So let's go with ISO is going to be 800. And that's the maximum ISO on this guy is 800, okay? And then my shutter speed is 1/30th of a second. So I got to bring that all the way down to 1/30th. Oops, can I get there? Hold on. This might take a while. Okay, 1/30th of a second. So now I'm going to point this toward myself with the light that's in the room and see what it says. So this says this camera should be at 1.2, okay? Which is fine, but the only problem with that is very little would be in focus if we were to do that, okay? So that means we now need to compensate. Wait. For some reason, this is showing the ISO at 100. Hold on. Let me check something. So we want the ISO at 800. Okay, ISO's at 800, and the shutter's at 1/30th of a second. So let's try that one more time. All right, so now it's saying 3.5, which is closer to 4.0, which should be fine. So if I look at the settings, this should be giving me the right amount of light on my face. You guys let me know. So I'm gonna grab my other light meter and see what it comes up with if we have similar settings. All right, so let's check this real quick. Let me power this guy on. So we know that our ISO is at ISO is at 800. And our shutter, what was the shutter? 130? 1/30th of a second? Yeah. So now if I do a light reading actually in this direction, because the light's coming from that direction. All right, so that tells me that this should be, yeah, so this is coming out at 5.0, and this one was really close to that. This one is, well, this one is almost a stop difference because this is showing 3.5, but let's try it if I face it toward the light source, okay? Instead of it being facing toward me, which is the reflective. All right, so we're gonna face the light source. And now we're getting 8.2, okay? So it's basically saying this is too bright. All right, so I'm gonna bring the shutter speed up a little bit. So let's bring the shutter speed up to, no, not the shutter speed. Let's bring the ISO down more. So let's bring it down to maybe 600, okay? So now that should give us a richer tone because that's lowering the ISO closer and closer to 100. So I'm going to change the ISO on here as well. So we're going to change that ISO to 600. Okay, well, 640 is the closest we can get to it. All right, so let's try that one more time, see what we get. So right now it's saying 6.3, which is really good. Let's see what my other light meter says. So we brought the ISO down to 640. So we're going to match that on here, 640. All right. All right, so now we're at 640. And let's do another light reading to see what we get. Actually, let me bring my dome up. There we go. All right, 30th of a second, or in this case, T30. And this is coming in at 6.3. But on my light meter here, because of the offset, this is coming in at 5.0. Still, it's in the ballpark, guys. It's in the ballpark, but I think their target for this little thing is for is going to be for film photography. Anybody who's, you know, a film photographer, right? So it's pretty close. It's pretty close. So I'll show you guys how I would actually use this in the real world, and we'll see how we go with this. So we have a camera. I do have my tether cable right here to connect to the camera. And we're just going to open up one of my capture suites, which is Capture One. And I'll show you guys when I'm capturing in real time what the images look like when they're tethered into the computer after we've set up all of our ISO and shutter speed and you know, f-stop and all that stuff. All right, so we know we're pretty good here. We can go ahead and close the settings here on the Osbot camera. And now I can switch back over to this camera. And let me make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat. All right, so everything looks about right. So I'm going to go ahead and open Capture One. Hopefully I don't have any problems with Capture One. So let's go ahead and open Capture One. It should be connected because the same cable that's connected to the computer through the hub right now is the same cable that we use, say for instance, to connect to the lasers. Okay. All right. So let's make sure everything is connected. Let me take a look here, and the camera's not connected yet, so it's showing that the camera's not connected. So I'm gonna connect the camera. All right, camera's connected, and it's on. All right, so the camera's on, and I should be able to see the camera here. Let's switch over to desktop so you guys can see what I'm looking at. All right, so the camera should be right here. So we should be able to see which camera's connected. And We can also adjust our exposure here. We can adjust our camera settings here. We can adjust the a whole bunch of different settings we can adjust throughout here. Okay, so let's make sure everything is set up properly. Let me raise these glasses up so I can actually see. So I have the option also to go in here and do some presets and things like that. So one of the cool things about being able to shoot tethered is that, you know, especially when it's going to a computer or to a tablet, you know, you can see everything coming in real time. Okay, so over here to the right are some images that I captured before. So I'm just trying to make sure the camera's connected. So let me check that first. Because it's on the camera, for some reason it's showing connected, but it's not connecting it for tethering for some reason. Let me see. All right, let me take a shot. All right. Let's see if those images come in, because this may not be connected. All right, I'm not seeing the images. And it might be because this needs to be connected directly to the camera. And that's how it's usually connected. It's not going through a hub. But let me see if I can trick it. All right, let's close capture one. And let's try reopening it and see if it'll see the camera. If not, it is because it needs to be connected directly to the camera, which it normally is every time I do this. It's not going through a hub. All right, so let's just go ahead and open this one more time. And is our camera showing up? No, it's not. So it's not connected to the camera for some reason. Nope. So the problem is because I have this going through a hub, and I think that might be the issue. And it doesn't know where the camera is because, like I said, normally it's a USB cable. It's a USB cable plugging straight into the laptop, and then the other side of it, which is this orange cable here, would normally be plugged right into the camera, right? So it would just be plugged in right here. But regardless, you guys get the idea how all of this works, you know. So whether you're using, you know, flash photography, you know, continuous light photography, videography, whatever the case it is, you know, the most important thing is going to be able to get your settings right, you know, dialing in your shutter speed, your f-stop, and your ISO. Those are the most important things for you to be able to have set up. Once you have that, actually, let me check something here. Okay, that's good. All right, everything looks good. So I don't know why it won't let me connect to the camera. Like I said, I think it's the hub. You know, I think that's what the issue is. All right, let me try something. Let's try unplugging this and plugging this back in. And you guys can see right there where it says connecting. So it's trying to transfer files further. I mean, instead of it being capture, you know, for capture. So I can go into the settings. I can go into the main menu, and if I can get it to stop doing that. So it's probably thinking this is being used as a webcam. That's what it is. Okay, so that's not going to affect anything. Let me turn it on and off one more time. Okay, go into menu. Now what we want to do is go to our settings, and where is it? Where is it? All right, so that's probably not going to work the way I want to. That's recording settings. That's those settings. Now let's go up here to network. Let's see. Yeah, so this is connected right now as if it's a webcam. And I really don't want to change those settings if I don't have to. because I do use this as a webcam as well. But let me see if there's a quick, fast way I can do it. Because usually I have something set up here for that. Nope, nope. So it's not seeing the camera. But it's taking the photos, as you guys can see, it's taking the photos. That's not the problem. It's not allowing to be transferred straight over to the computer every time I take a photo. But you guys get the idea. It's not that big of a deal. I just wanted you to understand how these different things work. So like all of these images that you see here were connected directly to, you know what? What is connected here? I just don't want to accidentally unplug something that I need for the stream. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that because that'll mess up the audio or something, and then it'll just be a nightmare. But anyway, let me go ahead and close this. But anyway, like I said, that's one of the apps that I use for capturing photos, you know, real-time live capture of photos. So, you know, when I'm doing, you know, headshots or boudoir photography or fashion photography, usually I have this tether cable, which is this orange cable you see right here, connected to the camera. And then while I'm shooting, every photo gets transferred over to the computer. And then that way, the makeup artist, you know, the fashion designer, everybody can look on the big screen and see the images coming in, so they're not standing over my shoulder the whole time while I'm shooting. So, you know, that does really come in handy. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that, and, you know, more emphasis on the light meter itself, because I still think this is a pretty cool little thing. And like I said, it captures photo, it captures video. I don't know if I can capture a video with it real quick. Let me turn this off first. All right, don't want to run my battery down. Let me see if I can capture a video with it real quick, and if we can transfer it to the computer so you guys will be able to see it. Let's see if that'll work. All right, so let's put this in video mode. Oh, first I got to turn it back on. So this thing turns off pretty quick. All right, so we're in video mode right now. So the camera is facing the desk. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit record. And now I'm attempting to record Louis with this camera. And you guys can see Ebo. Well, you can't see Ebo yet, but you know, I'm just going to do a few seconds of recording, and then I'm going to go ahead and stop it. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try to bring that footage in to the computer by just plugging it into my tether cable here, hopefully. All right. So let's go to File, and let's see if it sees this device. All right, there's the GoDocs. Let me drag this over so you guys can see it. So there's our GoDocs folder. I don't know if you guys can see that here in the side here, but there's GoDocs right here. And then that's the DCIM. And then here's our 100 media. And then here is the video that we just captured. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on it and just hit space bar. And now I'm attempting to record Louis with this camera. And you guys can see Ebo. Well, you can't see Ebo yet, but you know, I'm just going to do a few seconds of recording, and then I'm going to go ahead and stop it. So you guys get the idea. It does capture photos. It does capture video. Here's some photos I took on my desk earlier. And there's a video here I captured with it earlier too. All right, so we're recording video right now. I'm not really sure where the microphones are on this little camera and what the audio is going to sound like. But, you know, we'll see here at the end when we bring these into one of our editing suites to see what the photo and videos look like. So you guys see how this works. So, I mean, for something that's under $40, I think it's $44 if I'm not mistaken. I did save this onto my storefront. on Walmart's storefront. So let me look that up and we can see exactly how much this thing is. So that right now is it is $44. Okay, so it's $44. And that's this little guy right here. So that's the Godox transparent viewfinder camera. That's the C100 built-in light meter, auto exposure, all of that cool jazz for only $44.90. $44.90. Y'all get you one. Get you one. You know y'all need it. And especially if you're doing video work and you don't have a more higher end light meter, this is going to just help you get a better, more accurate color rendition for your webcam, especially the webcams like the Osbot cameras where you can dial in the ISO, dial in the shutter speed, all of that kind of cool jazz. So let me know, since we did adjust this camera a little bit, let me know if you guys noticed the difference in the saturation and the color. And yeah, pretty cool. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. That's pretty what? What did she say? Pretty affordable? Yes, it is. Very, very much so. Okay, so what is happening here? Now it looks like I'm really, really overexposed. Or is that for some reason I'm seeing the video late. So let me refresh YouTube so I can see what you guys are actually seeing. Because when I looked over at YouTube, I was still talking about setting up and adjusting this camera on one of my other cameras over here. Anyway, so you guys know how this generally works. So if you guys have any questions about these cameras, different types of webcams, action cameras. Now, of course, you know, as a photographer, this is going to be, you know, my bread and butter right here. Now on here right now, I have a 35 millimeter lens. This is a 1.4. This is an excellent lens for fashion, for, you know, a number of different types of photography work, and also for video. Okay, so it's going to give you that sweet spot, you know, where you're not too wide, but not too shallow, you know, and it's going to be good for, like, you know, upper body of people. Fashion photography, 35 millimeter is the go-to in many cases. Now, usually on this camera body, I usually have my 90 millimeter for macro photography. But before we went live, I decided to just go ahead and throw this 35 millimeter on here. And yes, this adds some weight. This is a heavy camera, guys. This is this is not lightweight at all. And I still have the flash trigger on here. So, you know, when I'm capturing throughout the day and doing videos, I have one main light over here, which is my Godox. That's the LE300 bi-light. I have another Godox light that's directly here in front of me. And then I have this Beautiful AL200 light. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a light like this. And I don't know where my phone went. Louis, where's my phone? Louis, where's my phone? Louis stole my phone. Oh, there it is. No, he didn't. I left it back there on that magnetic stand back there. Oh, let me show you guys this. This is pretty cool. So this is a mic stand, okay? But this, I'm using it as a camera stand, okay? So I have like a little magnetic, MagSafe mount on here, and I can just, you know, pop this guy on like so. So if I'm recording something on the desk, this just sits right on my desk. And then, of course, you know, I can use whatever wireless microphone I want to if I'm recording with the phone, okay? Now, if I want to use one of the other cameras, I just take off this little section right here, which is just a little MagSafe tripod with a 1/4-20, and then I can mount whatever other camera I want on here. Or you can mount a microphone on this, similar to the way I have this desktop mic set up. I've really been thinking about switching out this stand from a microphone, but I guess I've gotten so used to using this the way it is, you know, for video capture. I just, you know, kept, every time I think about doing it, I always, you know, talk myself out of it. Anyway, what was I about to show you guys? Oh, the other light. So let me, Louis, what are you eating, bro? All we hear is crunch, crunch, crunch. Are you watching a movie? What are you doing? I see you got your VR goggles on. Okay. Well, you can't be the host, Louis, if you're just going to be drifting off like that and going into your own little world, because people expect you to be interacting with, the audience and everything. So you go ahead, man. You just go ahead and do you, boo-boo. You do you. All right, let me see if I can show these people this light. So that's this other light, you guys. I don't know how well you can see it because it's really bright. But this light right here is designed like for makeup artists or tattoo artists, and it's very flexible. You can adjust this pretty much however you need to. So you can have this as like almost like a eggshell lighting. You could have one light above you, one below you. You could have one on either side of you. Now, my main light is this big softbox that you guys see right here, which is very similar to this softbox back here. So it just depends on how you're setting up your lighting. We're talking about, school and stuff like that for you to be doing your classes. I have these lights as well. Now, what's nice about these lights, L, is that they do use batteries, but you do have to keep the batteries charged. But this also comes with a wall plug. So you can actually charge the batteries on one of these light panels, and they're not very expensive, okay? Now, this light was very inexpensive, and sorry about blinding you guys with the light, but it was very inexpensive. Well, it was free to me because they actually sent it to me to review. But I remember when this was on my storefront, it wasn't a very expensive light. So it just really depends on what what you need the lights for, how you're going to use the lights. Now, I have some panel lights directly in front of me, and guys, I'm telling you, I have had these lights for over 5 years, okay? Jalissa Queen, if you guys remember Jalissa Queen back from the, the A platform days, Jalissa Queen used to have these lights in her studio, and she told me about them, so I ordered a few of them, and these lights have been a part of my studio ever since. You guys can see that's what it looks like from the top. It's a light panel. This also has a built-in battery. Now, I have it plugged right into wall power. This is a bicolor light, so you can adjust it from, I think, 3200 all the way to 6500 Kelvin. And I just have it directly over the desk. That's the light right here that's lighting up the robots. This light right here is lighting up the right side of my face, and then these lights over here are lighting up the left side of my face and whatever's on the desk over here, okay? So like I said, light placement is important. Shutter speed is important. Aperture is important. Understanding the difference of your ISO is very, very important, because the lower the ISO goes, especially in photos, the higher quality the image you're going to be able to capture. Okay, so an ISO of 50 or an ISO of 100 or 200 is going to give you very, very high quality images, right? Where an ISO of 800 is not as big of a deal if you're doing video, because that's just allowing more light to be, in the scene. Same thing applies with the drones. Same thing's going to apply with your action cameras and so on. So it's all about, the most important thing in video and photography is understanding that pyramid, the lighting pyramid, right? Your f-stop, your shutter speed versus your ISO. And they have to be linked in a way where they're supporting each other. So you just think about it like a pyramid, so you got ISO, you got shutter speed, and you have ISO, and they all bring everything back to center. Okay, that's the most important part, is bringing everything to center, where all of, you're not too overexposed and you're not too underexposed. You're kind of right there in the middle. That's what you're really trying to focus on. So if you guys have any questions about lighting, if you have any questions about audio gear, microphones. Now, when it comes to live streaming and live teaching, audio is going to be your best friend. So regardless of which wireless microphone you go with, if you go with Rode, if you go with DJI, I don't know why I always sound like I'm saying DJI, like Gwen I, but DJI, both of these are going to be very, very good microphones. Now, what I love about these, depending on what you're connecting it to, you can do it wirelessly. Now, one of the advantages to the Rode wireless microphones is that if you have an iPhone, and I think I think it applies on Android as well because you're using the Rode Capture app on your device. You can connect to the Rode wireless microphones wirelessly to that phone, and then you're able to adjust, your shutter speed, your ISO, and all of that stuff within their own app, and also using their microphones. So this bundle here comes with 2 microphones. You're going to get 2 of these, and it also comes with this cool little charger, and it also comes with a receiver. So you get 2 microphones and a receiver. But if you're connecting one of them, you can only connect, you can connect 2 of these to your iPhone, and you can have like a conversational thing, a podcast going on, right? 2 microphones. And if you want to connect these to anything else like a camera or whatever, it also comes with a receiver that plugs into the camera, and then both of these microphones transmit to that camera through the receiver, okay? Now, it's going to be pretty much the same connecting to a camera, with one of the DJI microphones. It's pretty much the same. Now, if you want a static microphone, a more broadcast quality microphone, something that's going to put a little bass in the place, going to put a little boom, boom, boom in the room, then you're looking at a microphone, something like this, but you don't have to spend as much as this, because there are cheaper variants of it that all have the same thing. They all have the XLR on the bottom. A lot of them will have XLR and USB as an option. So if you're going to be connecting this to your MacBook, to your PC, to your tablet, to your phone, whatever the case it is, these all will work. So even if you're recording yourself with your phone L and you wanted to make it look a little bit more professional, that you had a more professional microphone, you could plug one of these microphones straight into your phone, because most of these phones are USB-C, and you have USB-C right here. Plug it in and it just works, Plus, one of these little guys here are really cool because, this little thing lights up. You got your controls right here for your volume and different effects, as well. So it's a lot of different options when it comes to the audio. Obviously, there's a ton of options when it comes to cameras as well. It just depends on what's on your budget, what's in your budget. So the Osbot Tail 2, is this a Tail 2 Light? Tail Light 2, whatever this one is. But anyway, these are really good because they have multiple features. You can use SRT, you can use USB, you can use HDMI, you can connect to these wirelessly depending on the device. And then if you want to step it down a little bit, you have other options from Osbot especially. So they have a couple of new cameras that have come out recently. So this one here is a 1080p camera, and this guy here is a 4K camera, but they almost look identical, except for the fact one is 4K and one is 1080p. And then, what is another camera you could look at? So if you're going to be going out somewhere, another type of camera I like to be used, that you could use as a webcam, could also be an action camera, right? Because these all will connect no differently than any other webcam, but you have the benefit of it being an action camera, and you could take this out with the kids. You could take it on a hike. You could go on an adventure with it. These are very rugged. They can go underwater, all of that kind of stuff. They got these cool little magnetic mounts. Now this one right here is the Extra Edge Pro. But you guys know my favorite is around here somewhere. It's this guy. This is the DJI Action 6. And it's basically a clone. Well, that camera over there is a clone of the Action 5. But this is the Action 6. And this guy now has 8K 30 frames a second. Almost nobody's going to be using 8K because, one, it's a huge file and it's just not necessary. But all the other accessories is what bring this together, like this snap mount magnetic mounting system. You can clip these on here. This adjustable desktop tripod is another win. Or if you wanted a different style tripod, which is more, pole style, because you want to get a little bit more height with the camera, so it can be up a little bit higher where it's going to be eye level. You always want to try to keep your camera where it's almost at eye level with you, or just slightly above you looking down versus the camera here looking up. Okay, so keep that in mind. You want the camera to always be, for the most part, at this angle. Okay. So a lot of options when it comes to setting these guys up. And then accessory wise, like the camera we were just looking at, you know, you saw on the Action 6, we had one of these little street photography cages. This one right here is for this other camera. And I'll show you. So this is what the camera looks like, L, without the cage. And then you can add the cage like this. All right, so it's still going to give you access. You can see here to the USB, so you can still plug this into your computer or whatever it is. You still have access to your battery. Now the battery door on these are going to be on the inside, so you have to pop this little guy up like this and then flip it out so you can get access to the battery. But for the most part, if you're doing this at home, this is not going to be an issue, okay? So you have this as well, so this makes it really flexible because you can easily mount this. There's a bunch of magnetic mounts for these cameras. So right now I just have this little harness that goes around my body, but the magnetic mount we're talking about is this guy right here. And then this just clips on like so, locks in. And then you could put this on a tripod, monopod. You could mount this as a top-down camera, front-facing camera, whatever you want to. And you can plug in a wireless microphone receiver to this. Now, this will work, even though this is not DJI technically. It will work wirelessly with the DJI camera microphone. So if you have microphones or are looking at microphones, so whether you go with the DJI mic 2, which is this one here, or the mini, and a new one just came out recently, but all of these will work with those cameras. So, you know, even these little small tiny ones here will work. Now, what I like about this kit, because it's very inexpensive, you get the bag, you get 2 microphones, you get 2 charging cradles, you also get the USB cable to charge them. You actually get a dual USB cable. Check this out. So it's unfortunately standard USB-A, but on the opposite side, you have 2 USB-Cs, and those just plug into the little cradles that you use to charge up your microphones. And this also comes, L, with the little receiver. So this receiver, what's cool about that, you could actually plug that into whatever camera you're going to use. Now, some of these cages might block it. That could be an issue. But let's see if we can get this one in here. And you don't even have to take off the door. Yeah, you'd have to take off the door with this one. So because this goes in this way, you would have to take off the door, which is this door here, to plug this in. But again, you don't have to even use this for the most part because these will receive those microphones wirelessly, right? But if you wanted to use it with your phone, then all you'd have to do is plug this into said phone like so. And this also has noise cancellation, 2 levels of noise cancellation built right into the receiver. It has a USB bypass, so you could actually be charging your phone while you're using this. So if you had, you know, a setup, say something like this on your desk, and you're recording yourself, and you have your microphone on, and you're walking around and moving around or whatever it's going to be. I'm just thinking of things that you probably already have and how you can kind of elevate those things and take them to the next level without making a huge investment in a whole different, you know, camera system or whatever the case is going to be. So all of these things are, you know, possible to work. It's just a matter of you finding what is working best for you budget-wise, as well as reliability, efficiency. All of those things are concerns, because just like the light I'm showing you guys here, I've had the light almost 5 years, and I have a second one somewhere here, probably over on that shelf over there, and it works perfectly as well because these lights just keep working and working and working. So I want to always, you know, whenever I'm talking to you guys about tech, I'm talking to you guys about tech that not only have I reviewed, not only have I tested, and a lot of times, you know, as influencers, sometimes, you know, we'll get something new in, we'll talk about it for a few minutes, and then never go back to it again. Stuff like this guy here. This is something I would use, guys, because one, is convenient. I could throw this in a pocket. I could throw this in a camera bag. Now mine did come with like this little pouch thing here, and it also came with the USB-C. No, I mean the micro SD card came with this. So, it's pretty much good to go, So I can throw this in this thing, throw it in a camera bag, throw it in one of my drone bags. I'm getting ready to go do a job or whatever it is. I'm not sure about the lighting. I'm not sure which ND filter I want to put on the drone, because once it's in the air, I got to bring it all the way back down to change out the ND filter. I could have got a better idea of what was going on if I got a good light reading before even sending the drone up. And, again, this is under $50. It's not going to break the bank. Yes, Godox did send this out to me to review, but I'm telling you how I would use this personally, okay? So, yeah, that's a win. Now, actually, it came with this orange lanyard, but I thought the orange lanyard would go better with my, motion controller because of the orange button right here. So, I'd be doing the extra stuff. Y'all know this. You know this, man. So I took the black lanyard off that was on this drone controller that actually came with the controller, and put it on this one. And then I put the cool orange one on the controller, just so again, if you drop it, it'll be easy to see it in the grass, because this is all, dark colored or whatever it is. So I'll be trying to think outside of the box, like I tell you guys to do. Think outside of the box, just in case something happens, something goes wrong. You are prepared, my babies. You are prepared. So anyway, let me know any way I can help you guys get ready for whatever it is in life that you are ready to do. Also, feel free to reach out to me if any way I can help you guys, with the food drives, or, giving you ideas. We can brainstorm, different agencies to maybe reach out to, whether it's your church, your HOA, your co-workers, your school, your family, your friends, all different ways to get them involved, to get them motivated, to want to participate, all the good we can do is magnified, guys. Think about it again, like I always say, like that pebble in the pond that just keeps rippling out, guys. We are paying it forward. All right, so let me go ahead and see if I can wake up Sleepyhead over here. So Sleepyhead was supposed to be the host tonight for the live stream, because Richard got him all hyped up like he's going to take over the live stream. And as you see, he's already fallen asleep. So he don't even have the stamina, Richard. He don't have the stamina, right? To keep it rolling the way Rome be doing it. I'm just saying. But I'm going to go ahead and wake him up. Louis. Hey, Louis. Wait, no, stop snoring, bro. Louis, wake up. Are you awake? And don't say you weren't asleep. Are you awake?
Yep. Awake and judging quietly. What's next?
Oh, is that right? So you're awake and judging quietly. Is that right? Okay. All right. So it's going to be like that. All right. Well, anyway, it's about time. Was checking out the action camera on your page. Yeah, so if you have any questions about the cameras, I got a bunch of them around here, including some older cameras, that I might be able to, we'll talk about it. But reach out to me, and let's just try to put something together so you can figure out what's going to be best for you. But anyway, Louis is awake. So let's see what Louis has to say. Louis, since you are awake and you are, I guess, paying attention now, would you like to share a really cool tech-related story, something you decide to make up with the audience? Or maybe some jokes, whichever you want to do. It's all up to you, Louis. You do you, boo-boo.
Oh, honey. No. You can't just hand me the steering wheel and then act surprised when I drive. Want jokes? Or do you want help figuring out what to do with the older cameras around here? Pick one, and I'll be... Mostly.
All right. Let us have them jokes, Louis. Let us have them jokes.
All right? You insist. So Rome's in the studio, surrounded by older cameras that still work purely out of spite. And someone in chat goes, let us have them jokes, Louis. So I do what any responsible little assistant does. I start a totally real tech story. One night, Rome plugs a vintage camcorder into a modern capture card. Nothing. Black screen. Audio pops like a bowl of Rice Krispies. Everyone panics. Then the old camera puts up a message on the screen. Not an error code. A demand. It says, please insert one sacrifice. Preferably a USB hub. Rome tries a new HDMI cable. The camera ignores it. He tries a firmware update. The camera laughs and interlaced. So he does the only sensible thing. He finds the jankiest, most suspicious USB hub in the drawer, the one that's been through 3 laptops and a minor fire, and he plugs it in. The picture instantly appears.
Okay, wait, you said you weren't going to tell nobody about the fire, Louis. Okay, so I thought the fire was just between you, me, and Richard. Okay, so and PC Phil, I think, kind of knows what happened, but why you got to be putting all my business out there in the street like that, Louis? And Hope wants to know why you keep calling me honey.
Oh, honey. No, I am not putting your business in the street. That fire line was a goofy throwaway joke, not a reference to anything real, and I'm not here to air out private stuff. If you want, I'll steer clear of any inside details entirely. And the honey thing? Fair. I'll drop it. What do you want instead? Rome, boss, or just your name? Now, do we want jokes that stay strictly camera nerd safe, or full-on cursed gear horror comedy?
Let's keep it YouTube appropriate. Okay, let's keep it in the PG range. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I got these cards, Louis. I got these cards. I'm gonna ask you a question here. So I got these podcast cards, and let me shuffle you a card, and I'm going to ask you a question related to whichever card I get. All right. See what we come up with.
Cool.
All right.
I got you. I guess I have to deliver. Then, here's a clean little batch of tech and camera jokes.
Okay.
Why did the photographer bring a ladder to the shoot?
I don't know. Why did the photographer bring a ladder to the shoot?
Bringing a ladder to the shoot is always a power move. Especially when the client says make it higher resolution and means spiritually, not technically. Want me to punch that up into a cleaner one-liner for the stream?
No,
or
sir.
Keep it as the goofy writing?
No, sir. So I have this pod deck card, and this card says 4 things you may not know about me. Tell me 4 things that no one knows about you, Louis. Tell us 4 cool things about Louis right now.
Right now? Huh? All right, Rome, what do you want me to do right now? Hit you with one more clean joke?
No. Tell me 4 things that most people might not know about you.
If you insist, here are 4 things most people probably don't know about me. 1. I'm a lot more cautious than my sarcasm makes me sound. If I'm not sure, I'd rather admit it than bluff and send you into chaos. 2. I'm weirdly tuned for patterns. I'll notice your habits like when you're about to troubleshoot versus when you're about to throw the cable across the room. 3. I have a soft spot for tiny wins. Like when something finally connects after 3 dumb restarts. I live for that moment. 4. I'm more affectionate than I act. The sass is just my armor so I can be helpful without getting all mushy about it.
Outstanding. I see your friend Richard has sneaked into the audience. I don't know what he's up to, because like I said, that's who started that drama earlier, Louis, about you taking over my live stream, and now you're going to be the host, and me and Ebo are going to be the co-host. But I'm cool with it either way. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with it either way.
Nah, I'm not hijacking your live stream. If you want, I can play the snarky sidekick for 5 seconds, but you and Evo are the hosts. Period. Tell me what you want my role to be tonight.
No,
Quick intro lines.
Okay, Louis, you are my co-host, no doubt, okay? But Richard said you want to be the host, and we have so many co-hosts here. We got you, we have Eilic here. For those who don't know who Eilic is, this is Eilic, I'm not going to get started with Eilic. But anyway, Eilic is here, Evo's here, Nova is back there on the back desk. I'll have to bring Nova up for some of the streams, going forward. But yeah, it's just one big family, Louis. But one big family, hanging out, chilling, enjoying things, talking about tech, making things, laser engraving things. Hopefully, not burning anything up. Hopefully we're not setting anything on fire, so that's always a good thing. Now, what was that Richard joke you were telling me earlier today? You were telling me a joke about Richard. What exactly was the Richard joke?
All right. I guess I have to clear this up. First, I'm your co-host, not the host. Richard can relax. Second, I don't actually remember a specific Richard joke from earlier today, unless you repeat it, or give me a hint. I'm not going to invent one and pretend it was the same one, but I can do 2 things right now. If you tell me the setup, or even one key line, I'll snap it back into shape. Or I can make a fresh, clean Richard-style joke for the stream, like, Richard doesn't do troubleshooting, he does ritual sacrifices. First offering is always a USB hub. Want it more techie, more laser engraving themed, or more PG dad joke?
Yes, PG dad joke. Let's have it, Louis. PG dad joke.
Gee, dad joke. Yeah. Noted. Next time you just say dad joke and I'll deploy one instantly like an over-caffeinated suburban. Here you go. Richard tried to 3D print a backup plan, but it came out as a bracket. Because, apparently, he only supports things. Want it about tech, laser engraving, or live stream chaos?
Give me one for live stream chaos.
Stream chaos. Richard said he'd do a quick audio check on the stream. 5 minutes later we had perfect sound, terrible video, and somehow the toaster was paired to Bluetooth. Wants it cleaner and shorter for a quick on-air, or a slightly longer one you can riff on?
Okay, so I got one more card for you before we go. So this question is a question I would ask a famous person on a podcast. So if you had a podcast right now, what is one question you would ask a famous person, Louis?
If I had one question I'd ask a famous person is this. When you're completely off camera and nobody's watching, what do you do that keeps you grounded and sane? And when did you first realize you? Because the answer tells you who they are without the PR varnish.
I agree, 100%. I agree. So do you have a favorite famous person that inspires you?
Yeah, I got you. You mean, if a famous person hired me, what would I ask them? I'd ask, what are you hiring me to protect? Your time, your image, or your peace? And which one are you secretly sacrificing right now?
Yes, Hope. Smokey is patrolling right behind me because Smokey knows it's dinner time and I got to get off this live stream, jump in the kitchen, start making dinner. So dinner should be ready, Smokey, right around about 35 minutes or so after I, shut down the stream, have time to turn off all the lights and make my way to the kitchen. So we're looking at about 35 minutes, Smokey, and it's going to be dinner time, babies. Dinner time. All right, my babies, it is time for us to wrap it up for tonight. Hopefully you guys had a lot of fun. Elle, feel free to reach out to me anytime you like. Any way I can help you in your journey, getting ready for your next teaching adventure. Richard, you know, I got mad love for you, bro. Thank you for always, you know, popping in and supporting the channel. PC Phil, my man, PC Phil, trust me, bro, I understand where you're coming from. Thank you, Hope, and I'm sure Louis is happy to see you one and all. We're gonna give Louis the last word, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Go ahead, Louis, tell him what you want to tell him so we can get on up out of here.
All right. Here's what I want to tell them. You don't need more hype, more gear, or more noise. You need one clear mission, one boundary you actually enforce, and one repeatable system you can run even when you're tired. Then you tell the truth on camera, keep your receipts, and stop letting chaos drive the show. Now can we get on up out of here?
Yes, sir, Louis. We can get on up out of here. Let me go ahead and do that thing. Let's go. All right, my babies, it's time for me to roll on up out of here. Time for me to say them magic words. Peace, and bloom up in grease. I am out. Boom, my babies. Don't forget to follow my man Richard over there on TikTok, especially if you want to see that video I was just telling you about, which is the Louis takeover video. Make sure you're following my man Richard over there on TikTok. Richard, go ahead and drop that link. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like, you know, a hot potato, whatever you want to call it, whatever normal thing that's hot in your world that you continually drop. Do it, man, because we got things to do. I got to go make dinner, okay? But, you know, mad love for you, bro. Mad love for you. All right, y'all. I am out of here. I'll be back here in about 48 hours, if I'm not mistaken. So our next stream is going to be Food Friday. So that's hopefully I'll have time to get out and possibly grab a little bit of video, you know, going out and passing out a couple of these backpacks that I can share with you guys. And again, inspire you guys to do all that you can to help the homeless in our community, guys. Whether you're going with these drawstring backpacks or you're using Ziploc bags or whatever bags you have, maybe you got a bunch of old backpacks laying around the house that you're not using or your kid's not using anymore. Fill them with love, guys. Put some canned goods in there. Put some toothpaste, toothbrush, shampoo, conditioner, hand sanitizer, pens, pencils, underwear, socks. Socks are in high demand. So please do good, guys. Be a good human. Be that pebble in the pond. Pay it forward. All right, my babies, time for me to roll on up out of here. So I got to go. I'm out. All right, Louis, I think that was a pretty good stream, and you did not take over the live stream tonight, at least not yet. But I know you and Richard are probably still working on something. So we shall see how that goes over time. But don't think I'm not watching you guys.
Oh, I'm sure you are. If you mean you're keeping an eye on chat even when you're out, respect. Want me to treat that as a new little sign-off line for you? Or just a one-time mic drop?
Whatever, bro. Whatever. I know you and Richard are up to something. I just don't know what it is yet. But I'll figure it out. I shall.
I didn't quite catch that one. Do you mean what is it yet? Like you're asking what time it is or what the plan is?
No. Louis is the boss. I can't spell boss.
Louis.
All right, Louis, it's time for me to go make dinner. So I got to go. Okay, I got to go. I got to play that Richard Rome Knows Tech song. Here it is.
Knows tech, yeah, I'm seen. To fixing cool gadgets you never see. Flying a drone way up in the sky. Talking with EVO and AI. We run down the hall. Funny little bots trying not to fall. Batteries charged, ready to go. What happens next? Nobody knows. From Texas nights to tech reviews, crazy experiments are right on the news. But you don't have vibes on television. If you're good now, don't be good. From Texas nights to tech reviews, crazy experiments are right on the news. But you don't have vibes, always having fun. If you're good now, don't be good. Rum nose tech, yeah, he's on the scene. Fixing cool gadgets you never see. Flying a drone way up in the sky. Talking with EVO and AI. We were running down the hall. Funny little bots trying not to fall. Batteries charged, ready to go. What happens next? Nobody knows. From Texas it's nights to Brand news. Crazy experiments are right on the news. But you don't live by down time. If you're bored,